What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. It's Thursday night, and we are doing our live Q&A. If you are a Patreon member or a YouTube member, you had a chance to ask questions early, both off topic for after 9 o'clock, and on topic guitar stuff for before 9 o'clock. So you can do that. We're going to feature those on the screen here in just a few minutes. All of these live streams are ad-free. So if you want to support the channel, you can use a super chat if you like. If you're watching this in replay, you can use a super thanks, which is sort of on any video, which is sort of like a super chat, and I get a notification about it. So if you have a question at any time, it will be like a super chat only after, and I will actually see it and answer it. I always do, obviously, because you paid money. Yeah. Which is pretty neat. So a few people use it every once in a while, so I just want to mention it. The other thing is you can go to Dylan Talks Tone and buy stuff. Pickups, and we're going to do a video tomorrow, and it's going to be no pickups allowed. I'm going to talk about some of the other stuff that we do, because I think a lot of people don't know about some of the... I was doing yesterday, I was doing a bunch of stuff, and it had nothing to do with it didn't have nothing to do with pickups, but I was not making pickups. I was making some flat work, and I was running the laser for some stuff, and I was doing some other things, and I'm like, we do all this stuff, and this is in, parts, and I got to make a bunch of Telecaster control plates tomorrow. So I think a lot of people don't realize how fully supported we can help you with, all of the guitar stuff. So we're going to talk about that a little bit tomorrow. And we have a few, I made a bunch of hats for that Nashville guitar show, and I sold a bunch of them, but we had a few left, like 6 or something left. And there's like one of each design. And so I put them on the website. You can check them out, and there's only one of each. We sold a few. There's a few left.
Whoops. Wrong button. Rolled on me. Super chat from Tazzy. Tim, thanks for the super chat. Tim, he said ad free for TT.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that very much. And then the other thing I want to say, we have a really cool Telecaster set that's going to drop Saturday that I think you're going to dig. It's just a custom neck pickup cover, but I haven't done these yet, and you're really going to like them. So we might show that off tomorrow too. Before we get going on the questions, I just want to say thanks to everybody for all your support this week. It was a crazy week. I had a video do things I did not intend for it to do, and it was nuts. So just thank you, really. And thanks to everybody who supports the channel. Here's what happens a little bit. A lot of times, a lot of people discover the channel for the first time. They don't really know us. They don't really know how we work around here, and like that kind of. And a lot of you jumped in the comments and were like, that's you like helped me a lot. And so I just want to say thank you to all of you folks, because I know a lot of you that watch on Thursday nights have been around a while, and I just want to say thanks, because it was a big help all week, and I appreciate it. Let's get into the Patreon questions, because the first one is going to be our subject for the evening that I want to get y'all's thoughts on. That's in the thumbnail.
Robert, Dylan, thank you for what you do for us. I have a set of center punch humbuckers.
That's not it.
That was what was first.
That's okay. We'll still answer it.
I am going to put in a build. I want to use push pots. Can you think of a source for some good ones?
Alpha makes some good ones. That's what Gibson uses. They're pretty good. The caution is just make sure you don't let anybody that plays the guitar, don't let anybody play the guitar unless they know how they work, because they're the ones that'll end up breaking it. And then the other thing is that because they'll pull on them when you're not supposed to pull on them. The other thing is when you put the knob on, put the knob down in the down position first, and then push the knob on, and then it'll pop up. If you're going to pull the knob off, pop the knob up, and then pull it off. Don't do it the opposite direction of what you're trying to do, because that's how you'll break the knob. Just a couple of pointers.
Is that the question?
Yes, that's it.
Rob. Hello, Leslie and Dylan. I recently heard a professional musician who owns and plays both characterize modelers as consumer electronics with built-in obsolescence, maybe. They then compared well-built amps to high-quality guitars. Take good care of them and they will last a lifetime. Thoughts? Thank you.
Yeah, I have some thoughts on this. So the question is, which one on the whole do you think will become obsolete first? Digital modeling or tube amps? And my answer is going to be tube amps. I think that they are going to continue to be more and more scarce, harder and harder to keep up because of parts availability and expertise on how to do it. Mm-hmm. Because there are, as that generation of amp builders and repairers dies, nobody's replacing them. It's like television repairman, right? When I went to school, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but when I went to school for all of this electronic stuff, of course, I was in the music business with my dad, but my profession, the way I got to learn electronics was working on televisions and computer monitors. So understanding high voltage tubes, which is it's the same thing, but different. Well, of course you don't need high voltage tube knowledge and, step down transformer knowledge in the same way that you do now in today's televisions anymore in a TV, right? Like, so tube TVs are gone because they became obsolete. So therefore nobody learns how to work on them is the point I'm making. So what you'll probably find, and for those of you that have been playing tube amps for a long time, you probably found this around you. You could probably jump in the comments and contribute. I would imagine that 10 or 15 years ago, if you had a broken tube amp, you had a buddy or a guy in town, right? Or 2 or 3 guys in town. They'd be like, hey, which guy should take it? There's a guy in our town named Joe, and everybody takes his amps to Joe. Well, there was another guy that lived here too, but he's not doing it anymore, right? So when Joe quits doing it, then we're going to have to drive to Atlanta. So I think a lot of you folks probably have found that, where there used to be 2, 3 guys in town. Now I got to drive 2 hours to work on this thing, right? It's getting scarcer and scarcer. So I think that's what's going to happen, is the obsolescence of the parts and the knowledge to fix them is going to go away. On top of that, the newer generation of guitar players is going to be more accustomed to things with touch screens, to digital devices. I always say this, I have grown children. Our kids are grown-ups, and they do not know a time in their lives without touchscreens, and they're grown-ups. So I think history is going to dictate that digital products are going to be the thing. Are we all going to want to have a tube amp around because it's cool? Yeah. Hey, Zaba, that's not yours. I guess it doesn't really matter. Yeah, so that's what I think. But anyway, as we talk tonight, I want to know what y'all think.
And Robbie F. also chimed in to say the idea of his question was that every few years you need to upgrade to the latest version of the modeler, kind of like an iPhone. You don't do that for a good amp.
So I see what you're saying, but I disagree to a point, and here's why. When it was a Pod Go, or when it was a Pod 15 years ago, yes. But Kemper, for example, has been the same platform for 10 years, something like that. And it's the same. It hasn't changed. And the application of the software has changed and gotten better and better and better. Line 6 Helix, that whole platform of how that thing works has largely been the same. They have made more powerful ones with like 2 processors in them instead of 1 and stuff like that. And what we're seeing now is not obsolescence of old products, but what we're seeing is ways to make a cheaper version, like Tonex, which uses a different platform and a different way of modeling so that it's lighter on the software so that the hardware can be cheaper. So the things that are coming out that are new aren't necessarily actually better pieces of equipment. The software is better. The profiles are better. Understanding how to make the profiles is better. But the hardware is largely staying the same. The biggest thing, so I have a new Kemper and I had the first Kemper. They're exactly the same. The only difference is my new Kemper has Bluetooth to hook up to my iPad because it doesn't have a screen. And people will say, well, what about liquid profiles? Well, the hardware didn't have to change much for that. So we're not really talking. And here's the other thing that I'd give you. The first Kemper that came out, if you use the very first Kemper with today's profiles and today's knowledge of profiles, it will sound as good as it ever will. It either sounds good or it doesn't. So it's not like a computer where, where pixels were getting smaller and resolution was getting better. I suppose that is true to a point because latency got better and that kind of stuff. But once it's good, which it is now, it's just good. And even the very inexpensive stuff is good. So, the only thing I would say for the obsolescence part of it is when a company decides to stop supporting it. That would be the only thing I would say. You have an old iPhone and it'll work, but not really because they won't send updates to it. Or an old Android phone. They don't send updates to that old hardware anymore. It'll work pretty good, but you don't get anything new. So that's the only thing I would worry about. Anyway.
All right. So you want to hear what people are saying, or you want to keep going with questions?
I want to hear.
All right.
Because this is interesting.
So some people sent stuff in before you just talked, I guess.
Okay.
Based on the
thumbnail
maybe.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Doug Seidlet said, my Spark Neo will be replaced by Neo 2.0, 2.1, 2.2, etc. before my Deluxe Reverb, but my Deluxe Reverb will be obsolete before digital amps.
So my retort to that would be, your Deluxe Reverb is a premium product, standard of the industry. Your Positive Grid Spark Neo is not. It is an entry-level beginner product, and those products will always turn over.
Move the camera.
The beginner products and the entry-level products like Tonex, like Head Rush, like all those things, those will continue to turn over because they're going to try to make them better for cheaper. But the premier products, so I would put a Deluxe Reverb and a Kemper on the same level because they are industry standard in their area. A Spark Neo is not. It's an entry-level product. I see your point, though. I get it. But just trying to think it all the way out.
Vinny's World said, yeah, for digital devices, they're designed with planned obsolescence.
Mm-hmm.
Stu Crombie says studios will have amps a while. I watch another YouTuber though, and they paid $20,000 for 3 days of studio. So they needed to be very well rehearsed. That's including some vinyl and CDs. Crazy amount. Not related, but just going in order. Robbie F said yesterday's pickup phase video was awesome. I learned so much. Thank you, Dylan.
Thank you.
Matthew Altamere said, what is not planned for obsolescence these days, aside from good guitar gear? AJ, oh, this is not related either, but AJ of the North said, I don't imagine most of the haters from the Chibson video are here tonight. Not sad about that.
Yeah, I get it.
Matthew Altamira then said, well, let me qualify and say anything with software will become obsolete before something without software. You'll just keep replacing software stuff every couple or few years. Vinny's World said, Robbie, I think it depends on how you look at it. A specific modeler will become obsolete quicker, but digital as a concept will stay around longer.
Yeah.
Chicken Waller Farm said definitely tube amps. As technology progresses, it becomes more and more difficult to tell the difference between analog and digital. Also, the tech becomes more and more compact and affordable.
Yep. The thing is, you can get a $3,000 amplifier for $400.
Random Guitar said, which becomes obsolete first doesn't really matter to me, but I will say a modeler, my Helix, allows me far more versatility than an amplifier did. I can't imagine gigging without it.
Yeah, I'm same.
Phil Grochel, I think tube amps will be obsolete first too. Brian Setzer bought a gross of tubes for his amps since they are beginning to become scarce.
Yeah.
It's Victoria G. A modeler is going to experience planned obsolescence eventually. At least when a tube amp is obsolete, it wasn't planned.
So it's interesting. Okay, so you guys are everybody's right, I think, right? Because it also depends on like where you see yourself using it. I think our personal use cases have a lot to do with how we feel about this stuff, right? I'm in the process of working on getting a tube amp. We'll talk about that here in a minute because I don't have one right now. And I used to have nothing but tube amps. And I was talking to my buddy on the phone. We were actually shopping on Sweetwater together last night. It's like romantic and stuff. And he's like, it's $2,500 for, X or Y tube amp. And I'm like, yeah, dude, like they're expensive. They're expensive. So the cost thing per sound is an interesting one, even if there is planned obsolescence. So let's say next month, Kemper comes out with a whole new device that makes it to where my Kemper is not supported anymore. And I have to go I've spent $700 for my Kemper player. So I have to go spend another $700 for a new one. I'm still less than one Princeton. And I'll have it for however many more years. I mean, they've been using this same technology for 10 years. I'm okay with that. I'm a person when I buy a thing, I look at, can I amortize out what use I'm going to get out of it, for that particular thing, right? Unless it's a hobby thing, right? Like if it's a pocket knife or a gun or a knife or a pen, I'm buying that for fun, and that's the thing. But when you look at something that's a lot of money, you kind of have to go, okay, how much am I going to use it? Am I going to use it to its full potential? And it's also why I don't own a full Kemper anymore, because I don't use a full Kemper the way you're supposed to use a full Kemper. But I also use amplifiers more than just one amp. So that's why I got a player. So use case will drive, I think, a lot of this conversation for each of us individually. Because if you have one amp, like Doug, if he has a deluxe and that's his sound and he loves it, and he buys that Neo headphones thing, that's basically just a practice toy. And he gets a few years out of a $200 thing, and it's okay if it's obsolete because he's got his main tool that is his tube amp. I'm the opposite. I need my main tool to be more versatile, and I'm going to have a tube amp for more of a plaything, if that makes sense.
Zundvolge said, geez, said lots of clubs have started banning amps, so a modeling pedal run to the front of the house will become the norm.
Yep.
I nod. Neither will be obsolete to me. I'd say modelers will evolve into new products line or type of product that's more than just a modeler, though.
Yeah.
Mark in the Mix says, I've made a good living from photography for almost 40 years. Digital will win. I do think tube amps will do better than film cameras.
So, okay. I get exactly. What I was about to say might apply to you. So you probably have the newest, baddest thing, right? So I shoot Canons. I don't have the newest, baddest, but I have an R6. So I really want something new, but I can't just... Anyway. But if you are a real camera guy, chances are you have an old, Pentax, an old Leica. I've got an old... from Japan. I've got an old medium format over here. Do I use them? No, but they're cool because I'm into it. So I think that's what will happen is if you have a 65 GTO in your garage right now, you probably don't grocery shop with that. You probably grocery shop with your Honda Accord, right? And you take your 65 GTO out on the sunny days. Sometimes you don't even take it out. You just pull it out in the driveway and like shine on it and think it's cool and have your buddies over and drink a beer and stand around it. Like that's what tube amps are going to become. They're so cool. We're going to all want to have one, but we're going to drive our Honda Accord or whatever most of the time, right? You're going to use your digital camera to get the job done, and you're going to use the digital camera because it takes a better picture, but you're never going to lose appreciation for that old film stuff. And you probably have, if you're a photographer, you probably have art on your walls that was taken with film cameras that will never be duplicated. And so you really appreciate that art.
If he's been a photographer for 40 years, he definitely was shooting.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just an appreciation of each thing and letting it stand on its own too, which is a thing. Yeah.
Just a few more.
Yeah.
It's Victoria G. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I skipped something. I absolutely see your point, but I would also say, as someone with ADHD, I get overwhelmed by options very easily. Having only one amp tone stops me from knob twisting and doom scrolling.
You know what? That is a great point, and I'm going to write down right now. I'm going to make a video about how to avoid option paralysis. I can't spell this quickly. With guitar stuff. And we're going to talk about it might be a Tuesday thing. And we're going to talk about, because I agree with you, I'm the same way. So we'll talk about how I use some of this stuff. I have bajillions of everything, and how I really narrow it down to using like one thing at a time or three things at a time. Yeah. No, you're right.
Robbie F said, Dylan, you need a cab for the Kemper. I know someone who can build it for you.
Yeah, I've thought about it.
Chicken Waller Farm. So what do you think of the micro tube amps with a preamp tube and the rest digital? I have an orange Micro Terror and a Joyo Bantam Zombie 2. They rock, but is the tube necessary?
Yeah, I think they're neat. I think that orange stuff is really cool. I've never played around with the Joyo stuff, but the orange stuff is very, very cool. And there's a thing. Somebody mentioned earlier, it's going to become less and less necessary as this stuff keeps getting better and better, but you have very cool things. So those are neat.
All right. Do you want to keep?
Let's keep going through the questions. Yeah, the
Okay.
Patreon questions. There's a few more.
Tim, so excited to get my first set of Dylan P90s. Is the postage slow in the USA, as I am still waiting for my orange drop capacitor test kit?
That is a good question.
Oh, did he get that from you?
Yeah.
I was like, Tim, why is he asking about the USA? But wrong
Tazzy
Tim.
Tim.
Yeah.
Tazzy Tim, cap kit. I'm going to check on it.
As an impatient person, I will say the mail is slow.
The mail can be, and Australia is funny because it can be like, it'll get there in 3 days or it'll take 6 weeks. It's weird. Australia is a weird one. For a while, we couldn't even ship to Australia. So yeah, it's a weird one.
Matt, good evening, Dylan and Leslie. Do you have any experience fixing a dent on a neck, non-filled wood grain satin nitro? I somehow got a dent or crease on my neck as if it hit the edge of a table. It's on the base side and I feel it with my thumb while playing. Being natural mahogany, non-filled, not painted, I couldn't just fill it in and paint. Don't want to do anything to make it worse though. Thanks.
I don't know. I am not a finished person. You would need to ask. I would ask Chris from Texas Toast about that. I do not know. I have a guitar with a ding right there too, and it bugs me. And it's in maple, and you can see it and feel it, and yeah.
Garner, good evening, Leslie and Dylan. Thank you for everything you do. Guitars with 3 humbuckers, just for show or tonal advantage?
Depends how you wire it. So you can do a lot of neat stuff. My personal choice would be to do a 3-way switch and a push-pull to turn the middle pickup on and off by itself. So that you could have a bunch of different combinations. And that's what I would do.
That was it.
Cool. Well, if you have guitar questions, get them in.
Yep. Couple more. Phil Grogel said, when you shop for gear, do you buy the premium priced thing that has all the bells and whistles? Or do you get the lower priced items that have unlimited available upgrades to buy later?
Well, so that's an interesting question. Usually, I don't want to mess around. Usually, if it's for me personally, now if it's for the channel, I'll mess around all day. We'll make videos about it and that, you know what I mean? And I've talked about this before. I have like 2 departments. I have like my stuff that's mine and that I, want in my collection, and then the stuff that for the channel. My personal stuff, well, I'll tell you what I personally have for me that I use all the time. My Princeton Tone Master and my Kemper. I love them. And the reason I love them is because, as Victoria mentioned earlier, option paralysis. I don't push buttons. I turn them on and I play them. I use the Kemper for 3 different sounds, and I use the Princeton for 1 sound, and that's it. The Princeton always stays all the knobs on 7 except for the reverb. It's about 2.5. And that's it. So I want the best thing that will serve the purpose for me, that I don't have to worry about, that will serve the purpose, and then I can just use it all the time. I even have my cameras set up that way. I have everything and even all this, like when we shoot a podcast, I can set this up in 5 minutes. I want it dialed. So if it means that I have to spend the money to get it dialed, then I'll do that. If it means that I can customize it to get it dialed, then I will do that. I just want it dialed. I don't want to fart around with anything. I had to change email passwords today, and I was just like, I hate messing with this. Can't we just do the thing where you put your thumb on it and it just goes? You know what I mean? Like, I just want it dialed. That's probably to a fault.
CW said, I'd say neither will be obsolete. Nothing compares to the sound of a tube amp. recording studio settings and live sound in large venues will likely never lose tube amps entirely, nor will modelers.
Yeah, each have their place, right?
Hogman Hawk said, thanks for the advice last week. Ended up getting a new Gibson Les Paul Studio in wine red. Really liking the Burst Bucker Pros, but still in honeymoon.
Yeah, those are good pickups. I like those pickups. That guitar is good.
Chicken Waller Farm said, any updates on those heat colored P90 covers?
As of this morning, they were still out of stock. I looked. I'm on it though.
Lee Asbury, I have 2 early 90s PRS CE 24s, alder and maple bodies. I want to change pickups on. One, what would go with that tone wood? The HFS/vintage bass pickups are cook. I want to change one though. Are good is what he was trying to say.
Okay.
Are cook.
So it depends what you want to do. If you want to stay with that vintage style, what you would get from our DAF in a like a more of a vintage tone with that setup, you would get some really good clarity, and you would lose this sort of sterility that era of PRS pickups has. It would they would have more character, and they would be a little more expressive with the knobs and stuff. If you wanted to coil split, I would use our center punches and they're going to be a little bit higher output too, a little bit more mid-rangey. But they'll coil split with no volume drop. So, that's a practical thing. But my gut reaction is put a set of our DAFs in it and don't coil split them. That would be my gut reaction. But if you wanted to retain that, then get our center punches.
Sorry, sometimes lots of things come in. Martian Murray, modelers will become obsolete but replaced, but tube amps will become more niche, I think.
I agree.
Kevin O'Connor said, y'all can keep the quote silent stage. I'll stick to my tube amps. Thank you.
Yeah, the problem is that you don't have a choice sometimes. It's getting like that. I feel you 100%. But I mean, even here, it's rare that I play with a speaker. I will tomorrow. I got a buddy coming over tomorrow. We probably will, but
Steve Gunner said, I just went to an arena concert, 0 amps on stage. At least they had really well mic'd drums. We've been to shows where there's lots of amps on stage that they aren't using.
Oh, yeah.
So just because there's amps on stage doesn't mean they're using them.
Exactly.
Right. Them folks are just talking to each other. I'm literally caught up. It's like,
well,
I don't know what that means.
I'll tell you.
Dog Dr. Tim just said, this question just means I don't know you.
I will update you on my amp journey. So I told everybody last week that I would reach out to Allie at Stubac and see if there was some sort of campaign that they're doing, if they're trying to promote, some amp kits or whatever. And so she asked me what I wanted. And I told her I wanted a Princeton amp kit. And she said that they're out of stock on a bunch of stuff, but when they get back into stock, she'll see what she can do to hook me up with one. So then when we do that, and I'm specifically asked for a Princeton because I have the Tone Master. So I thought it would be fun. It would be a longer term video series. Or maybe I would just hold it back and we would release it as a mini, like a serial. so that I could I'd like to build a tube amp. I might do that. We might actually, I've never done it like that. We might produce the entire thing as a mini series, sort of like on Netflix, where it's like a limited series where there's like 6 episodes that all go together. We might do that. And release them kind of, in order so that, every day for a week or something, so that all comes out. And we'll build a Princeton from start to finish. Tube amp.
Okay.
And then I'll have a tube amp, and that would be awesome. And it has a blank black panel, so I'll be able to like laser in my own engraving and stuff, like my own logo and all. And hopefully it will sound good and it will work. So that's where I'm at with my amp journey right now. The problem with a Princeton is, or any of those amps, the problem with tube amps in general is, in order for them to work right and sound good, you got to turn them up. They have to be loud. Not because they have to be loud, but in order for the tubes to work correctly and to do the thing that tube amps do that everybody loves, is to be on the edge of that compression and then push it into compression with the guitar. And even with a 13 or an 11 watt amp, that's loud for any normal suburban home, much less a person who lives in an apartment or something like that, So it's really tough. And then if you go to a 20 watt amp or a 50 watt amp, then to do that is just deafening. It's like, you have to have a practice space. With a 50 watt Marshall, I would guess that most people who have those have to have a dedicated practice space for that to be able to play it at volume. Unless they like live on a farm, I couldn't do it. We have a half acre here and we're on a corner. So almost all of our neighbors are a few hundred feet away from us because of the way our neighborhood is. But I still couldn't play a Marshall at full chat here. It would still piss everybody off. Slow night? Mm-hmm. Well, if you have guitar questions, get them in. Because apparently we have some time. Before our off-topic hour. Everybody's waiting around. They're like, okay, I'm done talking about guitar stuff. Now let's talk about random things.
They're not asking random questions either, though.
Oh.
They're not asking any questions.
Really? That's interesting.
That big fluffy bed, and he lays his head on the floor.
I know.
He's so weird.
He is weird. And a dog will hang upside down. Like his head is definitely below his heart. Like if I did that, I would turn purple and he's like, fine, I'm just going to leave. Oh, puppies. Nobody has a question about guitar stuff?
I mean, it runs a little bit behind, so they might.
It does.
We just have to wait. There's hold
Do you
music.
have any guitar questions?
No.
No?
Should I? What made you bust out the Hello Kitty guitar today?
Because I hadn't played it in a while. And I had a sound in my head, actually. And I was trying to remember. I'm like, do I have that sound with just that 80s metal kind of delay?
You're trying to recreate a sound in your head?
Yeah. I was like, I don't know why I even envisioned it. I was like, I don't even know why. I don't know if I heard something in a...
Did you hear it or did you envision it?
No, I don't think so. I think I was just like... I was thinking about big 80s guitar tone with the delay, overdriven guitar tone with the delay on it, with this, with a solo. And I'm like, I think that's preset 4 on my Positive Grid Spark Mini. And so I'm like,
so specific.
Well, and it was dead because I hadn't played it in a while. So I charged up the Spark Mini, and then I was like, what guitar would be the best to figure this out? And it would be I have a Super 8 in that Squire, and so that would be awesome. And plus, I play a Squire and post a picture of it on Facebook because everybody thinks I hate cheap guitars, which isn't true, obviously. So yeah, it served a bunch of purposes.
Marcia Murray said, "Are you as stoked about the Fender Player 2 modified as I am?"
So I saw that, and I didn't actually spend much time looking at it because next week I'm going to do this probably every 2 weeks, where we do our like new gear thing on Wednesday and go through the new stuff coming. And I want to look at it fresh. As I mentioned the other day, I try not to keep up on this stuff so that when I see it, it's fresh. But I did see a couple things and it looks really cool.
Random Guitar said, "Did you return the Chibson? I'd like to see you do a video where you take the pickup apart."
It's gone.
Greg McFadden, Dylan, what do you think of the new Tone King Imperial pedal?
I have not heard it, but I imagine it is amazing because their stuff is amazing.
F. Stathio said, "Leslie, it's always a good time to bust out the Hello Kitty guitar."
It is. That guitar's fun, man.
Steve Gunner said, "I'd love to see a wireless hole puncher test on the Temu Chibson."
Yeah, I was going to do that. But then I'm like, wait a minute. I could get, well, okay. So full disclosure, she bought it because like I said in the video, I'm like, hey, I don't have Temu. Can you just order this real quick? And I like screenshotted the picture and I sent it to her to make sure she got the right thing. And she's like, okay, I ordered it. But of course she paid for it. So I'm like, well, let me just return it and she'll just get her money back and then I don't have to pay her. But if it takes forever, I might still have to pay you.
It's a weird way to get out of paying for it, honestly.
It wasn't really intentional, but just kind of how it worked out.
Lee Asbury said, "I got a mahogany guitar. I want to put a Firebird pickup in the neck, but I have a hamburger in the bridge."
Humbucker.
I'm sure he means humbucker.
Yes.
And I injured, don't know what I want to put there. I have no idea what we're going for here.
Put a Firebird. We have a Firebird that'll work for that. And put a center punch in the bridge. Because our Firebirds are a little hot. So I wouldn't put a DAF with it. I would put the center punch. That's what I would do if it was mine. And that would be awesome.
Super chat from Kyle Ketchamonia. Thanks for the super chat, Kyle. He said, "I got a JCM 800 that I'm attached to. It belonged to an older friend 28 years ago. Now it's mine.
That's
I learned
so rad.
to play punk and metal on it."
Speaking of punk and metal, your P90 shipped today.
Dog Dr. Tim said, "My Gretsch Streamliner Junior came today. I'm anticipating the play after the acclimation period. That thing is so beautiful. Metallic mint S.A. Bigsby. What's S/A mean?"
I don't know. Single action.
Oh my God.
Just kidding.
Bigsby. That's funny.
Single action is.
Yeah, I know. Tazzy Tim. Oops. Everybody sees this question now. "Do you miss building guitars?"
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally do. But the arrangement that I have right now with Texas Toast is pretty awesome too. And I really like it. And I love collaborating with those guys. So it works out awesome.
And then, so Lee Asbury was the one I was struggling to read his thing. And he said, "I hate this new phone."
Nice.
Not related, but it's not off topic yet and it's slow. Searching for Tone said, "The breeder that we got our dog from asked if we would consider studying out the dog we got from them. I said to my wife, I would feel guilty having tiny little devil spawn going to the unsuspecting."
That's funny. I was going to breed mine, but I'm not going to.
I didn't know you were considering it.
I was considering it, but no. I'm going to give him about 3 more months probably, and then I'm going to fix him.
You're going to do it?
Just need to get me a case knife with a spay blade.
Mm.
That's what that is, right? You know that?
No.
So a spay blade is they take the blade and they cut off the end. So it's sort of like, it's not all the way around. It's got like a bit of a point to it, but it's mostly round. And they do that so they can get in there, but not poke anything on the back side. The back of the blade right here is
spay female
is round.
and neuter is male.
Whatever, but that's yes, but that's what they call it, is a spay blade, and that's what it's for.
Oh.
Yeah. Like a case, the little case knives have them. Hey, bud. We'll take you somewhere and knock you out, and you'll be stupid for a while. And then you'll have to wear the cone of shame, and it'll be hilarious because it'll be a huge cone of shame.
Like, what are you talking about? It's like staring you down.
Only if you knew. Get your pet spayed or neutered.
It's like
Bob Barker.
Barker with the little skinny microphone. We
Yep.
should get one of those.
I used a headset thing for a while to do some stuff, and people kept teasing me about wanting to be Britney Spears.
What?
What's up, buddy?
Are you bored? Are you bored?
Is your buddy taking a nap and you have like nothing to do, huh? Yep. And I've been like really off this week because my old injuries came back to bite me in the form of some apparent nerve damage or something. We're still working on figuring it out. And so I've been, hey, bub,
Hi.
how you doing?
Everybody's looking at you.
There you are. You sure are big. So yeah, I've been fighting some pretty severe pain all week. Even those live streams I did earlier this week, I was in such severe pain. I was almost in tears the entire time. I don't know, you probably couldn't tell, but it was bad. So I went to the doctor yesterday and was working on that stuff. Whoop.
Trying to take me out.
Yep.
Dog Dr. Tim said neuter is both appropriate. Spay is female. Castration is male. But guys aren't talking about castration.
Right.
I'm not good at filling time
No?
or space or talking about nothing.
Rich. Yeah,
That's
me
your
either.
thing.
Well,
Lies detected.
lies detected. I just think this week I've had to focus. This has been, well, I was telling you earlier this week that I haven't felt pain like this in years. Like, I mean, I hurt every day, but it's been bad. And so literally focusing efforts, like these orders need to go out today. Okay, this is exactly what I'm doing, and nothing, I mean, just really trying to focus on it.
Dylan, Vinny's World said, Dylan, did you ever get a chance to try out any, I feel like I should know what it is, FR caps?
No, I have not. And the reason, so I would like to get one, but the reason I don't is because I don't know how much I would use it. Because I don't play with a speaker very often. Because I'm not the only one here. You know what I mean? Like, so she, you know, our house is laid out and is, you know, the size is appropriate where if I'm in here working and doing stuff and she's in her office, we don't hear each other. She might be in a meeting with very important folks. And so I want to make sure that I'm, you know, considerate to that. And then Brianna, you know, she works really late, so she doesn't get up until 10 or 11 in the morning. And so a lot of times it's just a matter of I can't really be loud that much. And sometimes I'll still do it, but I don't know that buying an FRFR means that I'm going to use it that much. Because to be honest with you, if I'm going to play loud, I default to my Princeton. So the Princeton's cool because it's got the 0.5,
Talk to him.
the 1, and then the, hey, buddy. Hi. How are you? It's got the power scaling thing. And so I can leave the knobs on 7 all the time and then use the power scaling to control the actual in the room volume. So that's how I use it. But the knobs always stay on 7.
Super chat from Kyle Ketchamonia. Thanks for the super chat, Kyle. He said, I went pickup crazy this week. 7 pickups, 4 of them yours, 2 Curtis Novak PAF sized wide range pickups, 1 TV Jones with P90 adapter for Epiphone Cornet.
Oh, that's cool, dude. Oh,
That's
Cornet's
a list.
awesome. Yeah, that's a list. And Curtis Novak, man, I tell you. So we did that show with him in California. There is not a nicer guy. I mean, I'm sure there is somewhere, maybe Canada.
Mm-hmm.
But that dude is so cool, man. And he is so smart. He used to work at Area 51.
What?
And do top secret, like, alien stuff. Like, I don't know really, but like crazy stuff. And he's wicked smart. And so here's the neat thing about him too. If you ever have any doubts about where stuff comes from, Curtis is very, very picky about where his hardware comes from. You know, so like I am too. Like I don't want like cheap garbage pickup covers and stuff. I want them to be good. So when you look at Curtis Novak's website and you look at all those crazy custom things like the adapter rings and stuff that you got for that. Oh, you got that from TV Jones. So, but anyway, it doesn't matter. Any of his wacky looking pickups and all the various pickup covers and all, he spends so much money on tooling, and he has companies in the United States make that stuff for him. He doesn't just find it in China and bring it over here. He actually spends it's thousands of dollars for every pickup cover design, and he pays it. He sets that company up. He buys all the tooling. They make the parts. Like, he is legit, man. So if you ever have any doubts about the quality of his stuff, he puts work in, and it's cool. It's really cool. And he's pretty tight-lipped about even the companies that he works with and stuff. I'm not saying that I tried to get it out of him, but over the course of a conversation, I could tell he wasn't going to tell you anything because he'd worked very hard for a long time to get that right. Super cool. That's just the same reason I don't tell you where I get my stuff, because it's taken me, a decade to get it right.
Super chat from Tazzy Tim. Thank you for the super chat, Tim. He said, have you considered approaching Crimson to sell your pickups?
How do I put this nicely? No.
The end.
Next.
Phil Grochel, what is your opinion on the Eastman / Bourgeois, I don't know what that says, collaboration making guitars in the Eastman factory?
I mean, it's cool. Somebody went to China. That's what they do. And I know it's Eastman, but everybody knows that an Eastman guitar in the United States would be $5,000. So they went to China for a reason. And next month, it still might be $5,000.
Nice. Lee Asbury said, Dylan, you raced, right? You ever ride High Point?
I've been there. I did not race. I actually did team support, built motors, all that kind of stuff. And we ran a company that made go fast parts for other for stuff. So I didn't actually race, but we had I owned 2 race teams with another guy, and we did all that. So, but yeah, but I've been there.
He said, I wonder if we cross paths. I understand the nerve pain.
Yeah, we might have.
Matthew Altamere said, is anybody able to use their Positive Grid amp software on their computer instead of the phone?
So there's 2 different pieces. Is it bias effects and bias whatever it's called?
Yep. I can't remember.
I can't remember either. I have them both, and they're awesome. And this is also another reason why hardware doesn't matter, because another thing that's interesting about this digital stuff is if you look at Positive Grid, okay, the hardware, and then you look at Tonex, the hardware, all it is it's an interface that looks more like guitar stuff for a computer program.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. The bones of it is actually bias effects and amplitude software. So the hardware doesn't actually even matter, to be honest with you. If you have a MacBook and a good interface and you buy amplitude or bias effects, you're getting exactly the same thing.
Chicken Waller Farm, what do you think about the Boss Katana 50 and 100 combo amps?
To me, they are some of the best entry level. Let me say this.
Oh, that was
The entry level amps, like the Spider 5 and all those little Mustangs with all the effects and stuff in them and all that. Those are the entry level stuff for like $180, whatever. If it was me and I was making a suggestion to any new guitar player, I would tell them to skip all that stuff, whether you're a new guitar player or an experienced one, and get a Katana 50 or a 100. They are fantastic. I've had them a couple of times, and I've actually bought them as gifts for other people because they're so good.
Stu Crombie said, Dylan, I work at a car garage. I've had a herniated disc in the past for 2 weeks. I couldn't walk. Sciatica about 5 times, all about knowing the limits. And I sleep with a pillow on my legs to keep spine level.
So I'm pretty sure this is sciatica is what I've got. Because I'm pretty sure. I'm hoping. Honestly, I'm hoping that's what it is. You don't think so?
Not where your pain is.
You're thinking it's a disc, huh?
Mm-hmm. Like L4 specifically.
Oh, man. I hope not. The problem is the reason I think it is, she's right, is because I'm fused from T3 to T8. So I don't actually have any discs from T3 to T8. And I have 2 synthetic vertebrae and a bunch of titanium in there that actually holds me up every day. If I didn't have that titanium, I'd actually fold in half and die. So, yeah. So it obviously then puts a lot more stress rotationally on L4 to L5. And so that's probably what it is.
Well, just where your pain is.
Yep.
Sciatica is very specific, actually.
So they told me if the regimen that I'm on right now doesn't give it time to heal.
How long is that time?
A couple weeks. That we might have to go to get an MRI and look down the whole road of disc stuff. Yeah. And then it's off to Mexico with me, or Colombia or somewhere. I'm going to go to one of them Joe Rogan shoot me up with some crap stuff and send me back home so I don't have to have a disc surgery. That's really what I want to do. Ugh.
Anyway.
I don't want back surgery again. Nope. It ain't fun. Next.
9 o'clock.
Oh, it's 9 o'clock. Okay, so that means it's off-topic hour. Hey, dude, the ball is right there. Just get it.
It's a little one. He got stuck.
Oh, I got it stuck. So it's off-topic hour. So that means that you can ask any question that doesn't have to do with guitars. If you have a guitar question, It has to be in a super chat after 9 o'clock. If you don't want to do that, just come back earlier next week and ask a question. Or you can join Patreon and ask it ahead of time, and you don't even have to be here. You can just watch it in replay. So yeah, ask away. Anything off topic?
Looks like there's one.
Okay. Oh yeah, there is one. From Patreon.
Tim, off topic. It is Good Friday here in Australia. Do you take a break over the Easter period, or must the show go on?
Here, Easter's not till next weekend, right?
This weekend.
Or is it this weekend?
Mm-hmm.
So today was Good Friday.
Correct. No, today's not Friday. It is in Australia.
It already is Friday. So yeah, tomorrow is Good Friday. That's right. I didn't even think about it, so I guess the show goes on. Yeah. I guess I won't go to the bank tomorrow afternoon, but other than that, but I wasn't going to anyway.
Is Good Friday a bank holiday?
I think they close from like noon to the end of the day or something. I think it's a half a day thing.
Who uses a bank?
I know, right?
That's one thing I was going to talk to Bryson about yesterday, but I didn't see him.
Dude, move. Get on me. Take this ball and go somewhere else.
Did you have off-topic things?
No, except that you're going to be seeing a bunch of content on the other channel. Leslie and I were just talking about it today, and she is actually going to be more part of the content on the other channel. She shot a video yesterday. So, I'm working on that one. And so, yeah, you're going to see a lot more stuff over there because we started to realize how much content we sort of have backlogged that we haven't shot. We're going through a list of stuff and we're like, oh, wait a minute, we needed to make this video and this video and this video. And we're going through a list today, or I was going through a list today, and I was like, oh, we have a bunch. So you're going to be seeing some stuff over there as I can put it out. So make sure you subscribe to youtube.com/DylanLeslie.
Super chat from Vinny's World. Thank you for the super chat, Vinny. I have multiple comments on screen apparently. Vinny said Easter treats for the doggos.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Guess they can't have Cadbury eggs.
No, they can't.
People eat those. I don't even know. Isn't that the ones that are like runny?
I don't know. I didn't care about any of that stuff. But of course, we weren't Easter people when I was a kid, so it was like, I was like, what does a bunny have to do with anything? So I didn't really care.
It's Victoria G said, hey, Dylan is right too, according to the Orthodox calendar. I remember our senior bar crawl was during the week after Easter, and 2 girls couldn't participate because it was still Lent for them.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That's funny. That's really funny, actually.
Vinny's World said those are so gross, so maybe people don't eat them. I don't know.
They're expensive, right? Like that's supposed to be like a premium thing, isn't it?
He said, no, I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Vinny's World said Cadbury eggs are what made me understand the power of advertising. So he must have thought they were going to be really good, and they were.
So I've never had them, and I thought so. I thought they were like some sort of like the Mont Blanc of like Easter candy. You know what I mean? Like that's literally what I thought until this very moment.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I had no idea. I don't know.
Steve Gunner said peeps are the worst. Fight me. Is it worse than licorice though?
Licorice is nasty in any form or smell.
I've seen memes before about like people who eat Twizzlers, like they're psychopaths or something. But the one I saw today was like people who eat Twizzlers, like, how are you over there just chewing on an HDMI cord? I was like, wow, they didn't even like try to compare it to food or anything.
That's actually really funny.
It's Victoria G said, I will take your Peeps, especially party cake flavor. I didn't even know that was a flavor.
What else do we have happen this week?
Curtis Chavez, he has a great question.
Okay.
It's kind of funny though.
Okay, I'm ready.
I'm not saying it's a great question. It's really funny in this context, especially after last week's chat. He said, I'm a large dude and briefs have become super uncomfortable. Anyone find underwear that work well for big, thicker dudes?
What's the name of the place?
What place?
With the commercial with the...
Duluth?
Yeah, Duluth Trading Company. I tried to buy some of their stuff, but I was not shaped correctly for it. My favorite boxers are very in low supply. I think they discontinued it and I've been trying to buy them on clearance at 511 Tactical, which there is a link in the description. We have an affiliate program with them. 511 Tactical has the best boxer briefs. They are awesome. And they say we are always ready or always be ready on the waistband, which is hilarious. And they're awesome. And I think they discontinued them. So every time I see any on clearance, we're going into a 511 Tactical, like hard store, like store, brick and mortar store. And I'm like, do you have any of these left? I try to buy them all.
The funny thing is, I
them.
think they've been probably gone for a while. And, you know, they have so much stuff. And you come in asking about underwear. And I feel like people look at you like, what?
Yeah, you're here to ask about that? Because they have so much, all kind of other stuff. Yeah. Yeah, but I don't need like a training plate carrier. I need underwear. Like,
goodness. Tazzy Tim said we ended up getting a Coonhound X Beagle. Oh, Coonhound
cross with a beagle.
Cross with a beagle, 8-month-old boy to replace our baby girl we lost.
Oh wow!
You got one almost as old as ours.
Yep, he's 9 months now.
Now everybody's going to talk about what kind of underwear they wear. Oh my God.
I mean,
they're breaking in though. I feel like somebody who said TMI last week is like sharing their underwear this week. Just breaking them in.
I mean, it's important. You can't just...
Oh my gosh. Zenfold says our 15-month-old English Shepherd Zeke got his first rabbit this morning, so no Easter bunny around here this year.
Oh, wow. We have rabbits around here too. And
I haven't seen them in a long time.
No, and I wonder because if the dogs have run them off. Because there was one that lived under the deck for a while.
I was going to say I haven't seen the one in the yard, but I don't go anywhere to see the one. Remember there was one that lived under the tree over there?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't ever go anywhere to see it.
Yeah.
Brianna would know. We could ask Brianna.
What we have is mockingbirds, and they'll dive bomb the dogs. It's hilarious. And we have a squirrel that lives, I think, in the neighbor's yard and will run across the ridgepole of our house and then run all the way up. So we have like, our whole backyard is fenced. I just had the fence rebuilt, so I know it's 243 feet of fence. And the squirrel will run around the whole fence, go up on the roof, and then run around the whole drive the dogs insane.
And we have a pair of doves that only hang out on top of the stove vent or the fireplace
the
vent,
chimney, yeah.
so that they can just sing to you in the house.
Yeah. They'll sit on top of the chimney and you'll hear it in the living room.
Yep.
And then yesterday, Zaba was in the backyard just sniffing, just doing normal dog stuff, and started getting dive bombed and literally chased around by a cardinal. So I don't know what that was about, but that was hilarious. He really wants to catch a bird, but there's no way he's gonna.
I hope not. That sounds traumatic.
Yes.
For me.
Yeah.
He better not bring one in the house.
He's getting fast
either.
enough. He's
I
getting
would be
fast
mad.
enough. Oh yeah, I'm sure. He would too. He'd be so proud of himself. He's getting fast enough, man. We have one of those. It's like we have a sporting dog toy, like it's like the string with like the beanbag on the end of it so I can throw it. And I play fetch with the dogs every day. And usually, because Bandit's more coordinated, he'll get it. But the puppy, if he gets it, nobody can keep up with him. He's so fast. If he gets it, he will intentionally play keep away and just start doing huge laps around the yard, and Bandit can't catch him. And he's getting moves too, like juking and turning and like all this. He's getting fast. He's getting really fast. Super funny.
That's why Bandit just gets frustrated and then just barks at him like that's gonna work.
Yep.
Or growls.
Or growls at him like he's doing right now.
Butch Landry, I saw your pin box you posted. Is displaying pins a big part of collecting, or is it using them the focus? Or is using them the focus?
Using them.
Yeah.
We just need storage. Really.
Yeah. And that, yeah, it is a display box, I guess, technically, but it is just super convenient because otherwise pin storage is like all closed up and tucked away, and so that is just like right there, like within arm's reach of writing.
Yes.
So it's still useful. And nobody goes in my office, so it's technically not on display.
Yeah, I don't know that I don't care about the display part. I don't.
I still put the prettiest ones in the top though.
Yeah, but it's for you.
It is still glass.
I know some people, I've heard of some people like have a whole centerpiece on their coffee table with like,
they must not have dogs.
But they must not have dogs or kids. I don't care about showing my, I don't think I have, in here's a little different because we shoot videos in here. So I try to keep, but even this isn't like all show offy.
Yeah.
Like remember in our old place, we had like a whole wall and that's where all the pedals were and a stack of amps and all that kind of stuff. And I don't even have that in here anymore. There's a couple of guitars in here and it's basically just the bumpy wall that makes it look nice. So I don't really care about like, except for me, like behind here where all of my firearms are, that looks super cool, but you don't see it, Mm-hmm. And my knife wall.
Lee Asbury said, there's a cardinal family, a woodpecker, and a blue jay trying to mate in my lilacs. They all get along. I don't understand it.
I don't know. I would hate to hear a blue jay trying to mate with a woodpecker.
Aw, that's wrong.
Sorry. Brianna got to see a video yesterday. We were watching me and her were watching some like, it was on Netflix. It was that whole like 72 dangerous animals of whatever. And she'd never seen snakes breeding before.
Fun.
2 rattlesnakes where they're like all twisting up. Yeah. She's like, what? And I'm like, that's snakes mating. She's like, I've never seen that. When I used to live in Arizona, we used to see it all the time. They would do it in the fall. They would do it when it was cool at night. They would do it on the road because the road's still warm. So you'd kill a snake with your car.
2 for 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now people are talking about chafing.
It's a thing. It's a real thing. Well, and that's one of the problems I'm having right now is I have all this like nerve weirdness. And so like where my belt rides on my hip, it feels like it hurts like to wear a belt. Yeah, it's weird.
What was that?
He's frustrated because he wants to play. Nobody wants to play with them. What time is it?
9:14.
Wow.
It's like the slowest night ever.
Yeah, it's a little slow tonight. That's okay. We have these sometimes. How many people are watching?
56.
Yeah, so it's a little
50.
Little light, but that's no big deal.
56. No, 50 cent. 56.
Maybe we wore them out this week with all of our awesome content that I'll never ever make again.
Maybe they're just tired of listening to you.
Maybe. That's fine too. Sometimes I am.
You're tired of listening to you.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'll call it an early night. That's fine with me.
Hey.
They're going to have to listen to me again tomorrow. Looks like we got another one.
They choose to.
No real questions, though.
Mm-mm.
That's all right. All right. Well, let's just call it an early night then. Thanks for hanging out, you guys. We'll see you tomorrow.